For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Lemaitre. We had a challenge online this past year and... Sorry? Not working. One second. Yeah, this is when technology is not your friend. Okay, we're going to skip that then. There was a video at the very beginning, all right? So my name's Dr. Lemaitre. This is my third year presenting at this conference. Thank you. The name of my talk is Tipping the Scales, Food Fight Back, okay? Now I want to thank the organizers of the conference, in particular, Tony, Carrie, Sandy, Laura, and everybody, you know, Cleo, yes, for all their work over the year. It takes a lot of work to pull this off, and so I really want to congratulate them, okay? But I'm going to explain to you why I'm here. And first, before I do that, I just want to have the doors closed. If you don't mind closing the doors, because I want to share a secret with you. And I think I can trust all of you because you guys have had weight loss surgery. So I'm going to count on you guys for keeping this secret in this room. So if you guys can just secure those doors back there. All right. Thank you. All right. The first rule of Food Fight Club is you don't talk about Food Fight Club. So the issue is that we're being lied to. That's the secret. We're being lied to. Americans are being lied to. They're telling us lies. This guy's telling us lies. These guys are telling us lies. These guys are telling us lies. Even this guy's telling us lies. And we're buying these lies. These are pre-packaged, high sugar-laden, high-calorie, low-nutrition, microwavable lies. And we're buying into them in Costco discount style. All right? So we're buying these lies as Americans, and it's affecting our health. And so I'm asking the question of you guys, when are you going to fight back? So my second rule of Food Fight Club is you do want to talk about Food Fight Club. I want to hear you talking about it because that's the problem. Nobody's talking about obesity in America for multiple reasons. But most of it boils down to shame and stigma around obesity, and no one wants to have the conversation. So when are we going to get to that tipping point? When are we going to finally get angry enough to say, yes, we need to talk about obesity. It is a big issue in our society. What's it going to take to fight back? Sorry. Now, last year when I was here, I had you guys all become med students, all right? I dubbed you med students and I was pimping you, all right? And we talked about a bunch of things, but basically I wanted you to raise your hand in support of awareness for obesity. And awareness for shame. Sorry, this is not working. In awareness for shame around obesity, to point out that there's a lot of shame surrounding obesity and it's part of the reason why we don't get help for obesity. And that there's a lot of stigma. And point that out to people as well, that that's another reason why we don't talk about obesity. We also had a little bit of fun with awareness around obesity last year. So we went after one of the bigger companies out there now, ZocDoc, because they're the biggest access to healthcare in America, and right now they refuse to recognize obesity, and they refuse to have a bariatric surgery category. They've got vascular surgery that deals with people who are older, who probably have never seen a computer in their life, and yet they don't have bariatric surgery where it affects all of us. So we went after them a little bit, and that was kind of fun. I also asked you to be a little bit aware of the scope of the problem. Now, you've got some large organizations out there. Right now, as it stands, the Weight Loss Surgery Foundation of America isn't so large, but it's going to become large. Why is it going to become large? Because it represents over 130 million Americans with obesity, okay? This is a huge problem. And you add all these other groups up there that you think are large groups like AARP, the Diabetic Association of America, and the American Heart Association, and this could be a bigger group as time goes on, because obesity is the #1 disease out there. I also asked you guys to take an oath. I said, raise your hand and let's take an oath to fight fat shame and fight fat stigma, okay? And what I've realized over the past year is sorry. It's not enough to just raise your hand. All right? We need to fight back. And we need to fight back for the following reason, okay? So we need to fight back because the lies that we're being fed are all around us. And they're being perpetrated by the food industry. They're being perpetrated by our media, which is barraging us with the products that the food industry is selling. They're being perpetrated by the pharmaceutical industry, which is providing us with an antidote for the problem that the food company is selling us. And they're being perpetrated by our healthcare industry, yes, by our doctors who are our drug dealers, who aren't taking care of the underlying problem. They're letting us die of obesity. And this whole apparatus, this whole industry of the food industry, the pharmaceutical industry, the healthcare industry, they're 1,000 times bigger and 1,000 times more organized than the cigarette companies. So you think that was a hard battle to win. This is an even harder battle to win because we all have to eat at some point, right? You don't have to smoke, but you have to eat. And they've pretty much got us. So we have to just be aware that they are not helping us with our problem. So what we need to do is fight on the prevention side of things with awareness. And we really need to organize as a group. So this year, I'm angry, all right? And you don't really like me when I'm angry because I don't use my words so well. Sometimes I need to break things, okay? I'm tired of blaming myself and taking on the shame myself of obesity. I'm tired of society putting stigma on me for my obesity. I want them to actually own up to a little bit of the responsibility themselves. So we're going to start breaking things, okay? We're going to break a couple myths here, all right? Myth number 1. That this is an appropriate portion size. This is not an appropriate portion size. This plate is an obesity plate. I want you to break that myth, okay? This is an appropriate size portion. It is not a cocktail plate. This is your dinner plate. And don't let anyone tell you differently, all right? Myth number 2, that we need to clear our plates because these guys in Africa are starving, right? When you guys think of malnutrition, what are you thinking about, right? The little kid in Ethiopia with the skinny arms and the big belly. That is not malnutrition. This is malnutrition. Oop. This is malnutrition. 75% of Americans are malnourished because they're overweight. Only 12% of kids in the third world are malnourished because they're eating too few calories. Most of us are malnourished, 75% of us, because we're eating too many calories. So I want you to switch that in your mind and put Sally Struthers in your mind the next time somebody says malnutrition, okay? Because she is the face of malnutrition, all right? That's how much we buy into the misconceptions that we're fed about food, right? Is that the picture is that starkly different that you guys all had that kid in Africa in your head. I'm moving to Africa and I'm going to raise money for Sally Struthers. I'm just telling you that, all right? All right. Myth number 3, that this is an appropriate amount of calories. That is not an appropriate amount of calories. That is designed by the government. Well, thankfully, there's this impartial scientist sitting in the back of the White House making up that number, right? There are no lobbyists from McDonald's, Monsanto, Kellogg's, KFC, all those guys making up that number. That is not the appropriate amount of calories. And in fact, this is what we're eating because the media is so good. Americans know how to make food. You want a car, you go to a German. You want bad, crappy food, you go to an American. And then you eat a lot of it. This is our reality. That's how many calories we should be eating. The only people who are eating that many calories are sitting in this room right now. And you tell that to the average American, and he or she is going to look at you like you've got 3 heads. All right? So break that myth. That's an appropriate amount of calories. Myth number 4, the food pyramid. Enough said. That was wrong. That's old school. Myth number 5. Personal responsibility, and this is one that I particularly hate. We're Americans. We love to take the personal responsibility on our shoulder. Good for us, and yes, what we do counts. Everything we put in our mouth matters. Every brick we put in our wall of our life matters, because you can't undo that brick, right? But it's not personal responsibility. That's the myth. Right? Here's the reality. 30 years ago, this was a thin country. 1995, the whole map changes color. It's heavier. 2005, changes color again. And we keep getting more obese. We're 35% obese. That means that everybody's brother, mother, sister, everybody has 1 in 3 people is obese in this country. And again, 75% of adult Americans are malnourished. So this is a societal problem. And that's about how much of it is an individual problem. So break that myth and start solving it as a society. Myth number 6, that fat cells are somehow bad for you. All right? This is an interesting one. I love fat cells. Fat cells are great. So put that one in the trash bin, all right? Why are they great? This guy told us they were great, right? Darwin. You guys evolved the best fat cells out there. What do fat cells do? They're battery packs. We need battery packs. We are supposed to do 2 things as humans: reproduce and survive. And these battery packs, guess what? They made us survive, and they made our families survive, and that's why we're sitting in this room today. So you embrace your battery packs. And the heaviest Americans out there have the best battery packs. It's just the whole system turned on its head when McDonald's came on the scene. Myth number 7, that fat people are lazy. Actually, let's do that a couple times. Because that's how bad that one is. Fat people are not lazy. All right? This is our group in New Jersey. They're not lazy. All right? They're out there running. All right? It has nothing to do with it. Myth number 8, that this is beauty. No, that's obviously not beauty. And you'd think we would have learned that one a long time ago.
Blame machine.
Yep. That's beauty. Actually, beauty is inside, so it really doesn't matter. But that's a myth, all right? It can come in any shape, size, color, whatever. All right, myth number 9, that America runs on Dunkin' Donuts. I'm particularly perturbed when I have a patient who comes in with a cup this size into my post-op session. Right? Dunkin' Donuts. America doesn't run on Dunkin' Donuts. It dies on Dunkin' Donuts, okay? So that's the truth about Dunkin' Donuts. It's a candy store. Did you notice they have an awning out front? They're even warning you with the striped awning that it's a candy store. Don't go in it. Myth number 9, that obese people have the same access to health care that other people do. Well, we already jumped on them, okay?
Blame the shame.
So access to care is not as much. Myth number 10, surgery is the easy way out, right? And that all I need to do is do the surgery and I'm good, all right? That's clearly not the case, all right? So it's a whole lifestyle change, all right? You really got to jump on board. It's everything. And why? Because we can't change our genes, and we can't change the McDonald's society that we live in. But one thing we can change, as Connie Stapleton mentioned, is up here, okay? So it really is a whole mind shift. Myth number 11, that you live mas on Taco Bell. No. You live mass on Taco Bell, all right? And you live less on Taco Bell. Myth number 12, that your surgeon who sits there in the office and tells you to do this, that he's going home and doing the exact same thing that you're doing.
Blame the shame.
Right? You don't know what he's doing at home, all right? So just take care of yourself. Myth number 13, that these are diseases. These are not diseases. All these things that we walk for, run for, raise money for, do the ALS challenge and raise $63 million for, these are not diseases. These are symptoms. And they're symptoms of the underlying disease, which is obesity. That's the disease. That's the disease that everybody should be talking about and nobody's talking about. So we need to move on and start treating these symptoms, not with the Band-Aids we call medicines from our pharmaceutical companies, but by treating the underlying disease, obesity. All right, myth number 13, that there's crying in baseball. There's no crying in baseball. I don't care how hard it is. I don't care that the deck is stacked against us, all right? we still got to fight and change things. So it still is the food fight club. I want you to fight back. I want you to take every means that you have in your arsenal to combat it. And whether it's surgery, diet, exercise, medications, I don't care. You use everything, and you use all of your support networks and all their tricks that they have. And when you don't have energy, you steal their energy. And you steal their tricks. And you say, what did they do to get past that moment when they otherwise would have failed? So I want to go through some other myths, because you guys supplied some myths, all right? So, myth: fat people just don't care about health. Well, that's clearly not the case, and we got 300 people in this room or in this conference to prove that case, okay? Myth: after surgery you can eat anything and not work out and still lose weight and maintain your weight loss. Well, no, we had the conference on weight regain, and that is a real issue. It's a lifestyle change. It's not just the surgery. Myth: people are obese because they all eat too much junk food, fast food. I believe obesity is hereditary. That is correct. Obesity is hereditary. Myth: obesity equals unloved. I love you.
Aww.
All right. Myth: all you need to do is eat less and move more to lose weight. Surgery is the easy way out. Not so. I mean, remember Michelle Obama and just get up and move? Her whole message got contorted by the food industry, right? It's a bigger problem. Myth: surgery is the easy way out. We sort of went over that one. Myth: this is Cheryl. We do this on purpose. I don't think anybody chooses bad health on purpose. Myth: weight loss is all calories in and calories out. Just put down the fork. It's a lot more than that. It's multifactorial. Myth: fat people need to just stop eating so much. Myth: fat guys have teeny peenies.
Is there a drawing?
That might be a myth for some people. I don't know. All right. You can manage the excess skin. No, it's hard for some people. It really boils down to age and how long you carried the weight around, okay? Because the elasticity in the tissues doesn't come back as easily for other people. But if you're young and doing this surgery, then you're lucky, okay? Myth: all fat people are jolly and happy all the same time. Well, no, I got some people in my office that aren't quite happy-go-lucky. I have another word for it, but I wouldn't use that yet. Myth: it will help you lose weight and keep it off for the rest of your life. Surgery: no, it's just a tool, not a miracle worker. We all know that, okay? Myth: hot guys don't like overweight girls. I do. Myth: I would never be able to have coconut shrimp again from Outback.
Aww.
Hopefully you're not going to Outback too often.
Oh, God.
That's good. And myth: that being obese makes me a bad lover. Actually, I'm awesome. Now, it's not all gloom and doom, okay? So there are some victories along the road, and these individual victories that we amass, this is how we combat the societal problem that's out there. So it's a lonely battle, it's a hard struggle, and there are a lot of failures, but you keep moving on. So we're going to move on to this. I woke up like this. This is a little story about non-scale victories, and maybe you'll see yourself in this story. So it's kind of gender neutral, so it goes back and forth. What a beautiful morning. I can't believe how much my normal routine has changed since surgery. Would you like to know how? I'll share some of the highlights with you. First off, I actually got a great night's sleep. No more sleeping in a recliner, no more snoring, no more CPAP machine. I'm finally getting oxygen to the brain. I'm not waking up my spouse either. I jump out of bed, sure, my boxers are a bit too big, and every now and then they get twisted around my unmentionables. Off to the bathroom I go. I step on the scale, never been that number before. I sat down on my throne, which no longer creaks under the pressure. I wipe myself with ease. I hop into the shower. I no longer squeegee the stall walls as I get into the shower. I wash all over, and when I look down, I actually get a glimpse of my own penis. Hello, penis. I admire myself in the full-length mirror. I don't need a beach towel to wipe myself down. I pick out a sassy outfit, clothes that have buttons and zippers. I tossed all the wedges in favor of heels. I bend over, cross my legs, and tie my shoes without coming up winded. Because of my great sleep, I'm up early most mornings. I get things done. Sometimes I even go for an early morning run. And I've ditched the bottle of Aleve, 5K down, I'm working on a 10K. My kids greet me with a hug, and Mommy, I can put my arms around you for the first time. They forget their lunch, I run it out to the school bus, phew, just in time. Mom, we never knew you could run like that, my youngest yells out the window as they drive off. Herself obese, I'll be damned if she goes through what I went through, and I'll dance at my grandchildren's wedding at the same time. I hop in my new Mini Clubman. The seatbelt swoops around in one fell swoosh and click without having to do a double stretch first. I drive off to my job where I just got promoted. My boss noticed my new swagger. I ooze self-confidence. My colleagues can't stop talking about it. Our vendors barely recognize me. In the boardroom, I don't have to scan for a chair that will safely hold me. At lunch, I glide into the booth at the cafeteria. Meanwhile, I take a selfie of myself straight on. No making air, no need to avoid double chins. I'm updating my profile for dating. And here are some other non-scale victories. Airplane seat, movie seat, roller coaster, stairs. Technically, that's more than one. My first one, when the doctor used a normal-sized blood pressure cuff on me and then removed the use an XL cuff sticky from the file. Wow. There are so many, exercising and not feeling like I'm dying, having a lap. Taking a long bike ride with my family and enjoying it. My blood pressure's down and I'm off my blood pressure medications. Moving up the car seat and now the kids fight about the seat behind me. No more cane to walk. I love that one. I call it the Lazarus Effect. It's awesome. People get up and moving around. Coming to the WLSFA, my self-consciousness and anxiety would have hindered me from coming here and integrating from such a large and intermingling for such a large group of people. Me too. No seatbelt extender. Fitting in single-digit clothes, buying my first two-piece at 67 years young, and hiking 11,000 feet elevation with no issues. Wow. Excellent. Wow. I ran a 48.6 miles in the Dopey Challenge at Walt Disney World. It was my first full marathon, and I was running a mile. For every 10 pounds, I lost 260 pounds. Wow. That's crazy. Coming to the WLSFA, flying, dancing, running upstairs without wondering if I can. I now enjoy skydiving and ziplining. I can't even do that. Wonderland. Shopping at H&M, Victoria's Secrets, and no plus sizes. Yes. Extra length added to my manhood. I see a theme. My children wrapping their arms around my waist for a hug. Went from 300 pounds to starring published photographs in an international magazine. You know what? She would have been in the magazines anyway before that, so we all know who that is, right? Patricia. Being able to ride in coach without asking for a belt extender. Work in a factory on my feet for 15 and a half hours a day. I hope you get a break there. Putting my knees to chest to tie my shoes. Being able to enjoy life without being short of breath all the time. Wearing form-fitting shirts. Riding a roller coaster. My belly doesn't rub the steering wheel when I drive. Ability to swing on a playground swing. Fitting into a bucket-style chair in my mom's favorite coffee shop. That chair was my nightmare for 10 years. Wow. Kathy, that's a nice one. Going to meet classmates for 45 years and being smaller than the perfect one of the year in my yearbook. That's nice. A size 8 wedding dress for my upcoming wedding. Congratulations, whoever that is. Riding amusement rides with my boys. I spoke with a gentleman in the elevator today. He asked me if I was a runner. I said, no, I just walk, jog. He said, well, you look good for being just a walker. In the last 5 years, it's my very first compliment ever. That's nice. Having to buy smaller belts. Paint my toenails while breathing. Ran a half marathon. I can buy clothes off the rack. Riding a roller coaster, sharing clothes with my smaller, older sister. That must have been a nice one. All right, excellent. All right, so you guys, at this point, I just want you to stand up and take this oath again, because I do want you involved in the fight against obesity. I think it's important, and I think that there isn't enough going on to fight obesity, all right? So we're going to take the oath. I choose, repeat after, to fight fat shame whenever and wherever I see it.
Fight fat shame wherever and wherever I see it.
I choose to fight fat stigma whenever and wherever I see it.
I choose to fight fat stigma wherever and wherever I see it.
I choose to speak up about discrimination against obese people.
I choose to speak up about discrimination against obese people.
I choose to help others live healthier.
I choose to help others live healthier.
I choose to give others the courage I found.
I choose to give others the courage I found.
I choose to spread the word about the one disease, obesity.
I choose to spread the word about the one disease, obesity.
I choose to enjoy flying without a seatbelt extender.
I choose to enjoy flying without a seatbelt.
I choose to ask for a bariatric menu in every restaurant I enter.
I choose to ask for a bariatric menu in every restaurant I enter.
I choose to enjoy bending over to tie my shoes.
I choose to enjoy bending over to tie my shoes.
I choose to enjoy sex.
I choose to enjoy sex.
I choose to run around with my grandchildren.
I choose to run around with my grandchildren.
I choose to breathe free.
I choose to breathe free.
Congratulations, you're now activists. Class of 2016. Thank you guys, that's it.